It means so much to me because what I do professionally, what I try to do is converge my purpose, and I feel that my purpose is to fill in those spaces where Black women have been erased. And so to hear from Black women that what I'm doing matters to them, it means everything to me. Hello, I'm Aunjanue Ellis, and this is My Essence Uncovered. Being honored as a part of the Black Women in Hollywood, Essence Black Women in Hollywood, it's really one of those bucket list things for me, like going to Vietnam. Being honored in this way is one of my bucket lists, was on my bucket list. I didn't think it would happen, just like I'd be nominated for an Oscar, but the last few months have surprised me tremendously. This year, I was nominated for an Oscar for my role playing Orsine Price, Miss Orsine Price, in the film King Richard. And the day that I was nominated, I turned my phone off because I was so nervous. I was okay, but I knew the people in my life would have been crying hysterically if I didn't get nominated. So I was afraid to let everybody down, and I couldn't face that. So I turned off my phone, and then about 11 o'clock that night, I said to myself, okay, just face it. And if you have a lot of messages, if you got a lot of text messages, that means there's good news. So I opened my phone and I had about 200 text messages. So I said, okay, maybe something happened good this morning. And then I got a lot of congratulations and all of that good stuff. I was raised by divine beings. My first understanding of divinity came in the form of my grandmother, who took me in when I was 3 years old under really the worst of circumstances. She essentially ensured that she would have a life of poverty when she decided to raise me, but she did it. And then my second knowledge of divinity was my mother, Jacqueline Taylor, who would be so excited right about now if she would be right here with me, bothering all of y'all. But she left me a couple years ago, and she was my second understanding of divinity. She was one of these women who was kicked out of school because she was protesting in the early 1960s. She went to work for the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And this is stuff I just found out a couple years ago, but because it wasn't something that she told me. I found it out through somebody else. It was something that, it wasn't a badge of honor for her. It was something that she had to do. She was elegant, she was gorgeous, and she was my second understanding of divinity. My third understanding of divinity and knowledge of divinity is my sister, Sasha Taylor Barnes. She's 12 years younger than me. Of course, I call her my little sister, but she is, when my mother had her, she created my best friend. And I'm not gonna start crying. And so, yes, those are the three divines in my life. I started in theater. It was my first job, and getting out of school at NYU. And what drew me to film and television, quite frankly, is the money is better. I think it's important that we are honest about these things. You know, I have a great deal of respect for the theater. I love watching theater. I miss it right now, but I prefer film. I prefer television. I was born in San Francisco, but I was only in San Francisco until I was 3 years old. I left San Francisco and was sent down to Mississippi. There are a lot more opportunities for young women in San Francisco than there are in Mississippi. So it's important for me to say something to encourage young girls everywhere, but particularly Mississippi. It is a place where you can love, but it does not necessarily love you back. And I would tell those young women to love themselves, to protect themselves in a hostile world, and continue to do that. Hear those voices inside you that tell you you matter, that you are significant, that you are a star, and keep fighting, because it's a fight. But you gotta put up them fists and keep doing it no matter what.